So did you want me to get started or
Yeah,
Carol, let's wait a few minutes for others to show up. We've got one new member here with us, Ty. I've forgotten your last name. Layman. And we have a Thursday coming up this month. And we're going to be here and just snacks and swap meet. I have quite a bit of stuff that I would like to find a better home. It's been living in my garage for a while. Some of us brought print for tonight. I also brought the camera bag, just kind of what I throw in my bag when I'm going out shoot landscape. So we'd have something to talk about. Patrick, you want to update us on your surprise of I'm ill and
Yeah. So okay, so our speaker this evening, I emailed her yesterday in the morning and said, hey, do you need anything for tomorrow night? And she wrote back, she goes, I've been sick for the last and so I'm not going to be able to make it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I at that point went into panic mode and tried to figure out who we were going to get. I was with Alan and Gary, Alan Irby and Gary Hook, and we were trying to figure out who to get. The only person we really came up with was, I get Robert's last name down at Precision. So we figured that Thursday night at South by Southwest night, South by Southwest week, and it's Tamron showtime at the store, that he wouldn't even be close to being available. I tried getting our October speaker who works with our absent speaker this evening, and he's on vacation. I contacted our Sony speaker for next month, and he's in Miami right about now. He flew over there this evening. And then I called up a friend of mine. We've known each other for 40 years. We went to school together. We were both Navy photographers, and I said, hey, do me a favor. You'd like to do drone work. Why don't you give me a quick presentation tomorrow night? And he goes, I don't own a camera on my computer. I can't do Zoom. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're a photographer and you don't have a camera on your computer? What kind of guy are you? So gave him a ration of what for a while. Then I really panicked. I called Bill. Oh, what are we gonna do? And he said, give Clay a call. Clay, what are we gonna do? Thank you very much, Carol. That's how you got here. Whole unabridged story. So but okay, so in the midst of all of that, our speaker for April is Van Nguyen. He's the Sony imaging pro here in town. He actually lives in Cedar Park. He grew up in Round Rock, I think is what he told me. And initially I asked him to do a presentation on post-processing of landscape work, because he goes, I'll talk about anything. So that's what I asked him to talk about. But after our communication yesterday, we're going to talk about advances in storage technology, AI, robotics, and other fun. Presenting, he's working up a presentation now so that he can use that. I guess we're going to be his guinea pig for the presentation, because he'll use it elsewhere as he improves it. But we've got that. Our speaker for tonight, I've asked if he could make it on May. I have not heard a confirmation on that, but let's see. We have July, August. Yeah, I'm filling it up slowly but surely. So we're getting there.
let's see.
You have, I don't have it on my phone, so I don't know exactly. You have one night, one
Yeah, that's
June, July, isn't it?
further out,
August?
right at the end of the year.
Oh, you're the December one. Gary's got the July,
Correct.
yeah, July one. And,
Yeah, Gary's going to do, creating an image in Photoshop or enhancing it, so expect to see a lot of creativity in image processing for the competition that follows that. And then for the November competition, we're going to do, get close, very close, and I'm gonna do macro photography, tabletop photography in preparation for that. Give people that don't normally go there some help, get everybody started that direction. I think Gary has a outing for Saturdays.
Sunday.
Sunday, 8:30 a.m. at Mayfield Park. 8:30 a.m. Mayfield Park. And the Peacocks put on a show, he says, and it's a lovely area to walk in the trails. The spring balloons will be up. And so if you have an alarm clock and you can get up early on Sunday morning, I think it'd be a fun thing. I'm sure he would appreciate you doing a RSVP on Meetup, but if you decide to come at any time up until about 10, I suppose, you should find us there.
Any other announcements or?
Yes, I will say that, and I want to ask the leadership to do some thinking on this. We have a scheduled an arrangement with the Pecan Street Cafe in Pflugerville, where they've hosted our shows before. And we have June 16th to July 16th reserved. So between now and that time, when we do the hanging of the prints, we need to come up with a jury. And Ed perhaps can give us a means for people to submit images. And if there's a theme to be had, I don't know if you would like to have a theme or not. If there's any suggestions, we could take those. Blue Monarchs?
I don't want to crawl around with my stomach right now.
Flowers.
Why don't you do something that's really open-ended, so that way people can put their what they wanted? Put their what they wanted.
Yes, I'm sure some people have some prints already that they, have available, and that would be okay. There's a limitation in terms of their space available. There are 12 hanging wires, and I was not involved in the hanging of a previous show, but you can probably have 2 framed images on each wire, so there's a maximum of 24. So yeah, an open theme is fine with me.
I would prefer the thing. I think we'll get better images. People will be rushing out to create something. We might have 30 minutes.
Mark and figure out how to set that up.
Yeah, I think you just have to set up a competition, even though it's not like really a competition.
Yeah,
And Robert Rios, will contact him. He's been in the background this year, but he's volunteered to be our show coordinator, so we'll check with him too.
okay.
do we have an idea of what size the maximum frame should be?
Good question.
I think the last time it was 16 by 20, I believe.
Say it again.
I think it was 16 by 20.
16 by 20 for the print size.
I think so.
Front size, and yeah, they had all these other stipulations on the frame and all that. I don't know if that's really.
I mean, traditional 16 by 20 picture is in a 20 by 24 frame. So that's a lot of space on a wall. I'm just,
Yeah,
I don't mind, I've got a whole bunch of those.
I'm trying to remember what we've done. I mean, I've been to the hangings before and hung some artwork there. And they had some real strict stipulations. I don't think it was stipulated by Street. It was the club stipulation.
Yeah, I think it was what would fit on the hanging on the
Yeah, on the wall,
Yeah.
but. But we could, I'll dig around the website.
I'll drop by Pecan Street and see exactly what's there.
Okay,
The person to talk to is Jenny or Jeannie.
I think it's
Jeannie, yeah.
okay.
So she was very nice. She's there often. And she did write us down on the calendar for us to have.
And when's the hanging?
June 16th, she says,
16th.
come before they open or come before they close. 4 o'clock would be probably a good time. I mean, you come at 6 or 7 in the morning, but I don't know. So 4 o'clock.
I'll already be at work 3 hours at 7 in the morning.
What a beast.
And then pick up on July 16th.
So, yeah, so this week, yeah, I'll try this weekend, see if I can figure out a competition, set up something. Just like a competition.
Yeah,
You just.
right, 2 images, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Do we want to limit it to 2 images on?
2 images per person, yeah. We'll limit it to 2 and then we'll see how many have actually entered. If only 2 people entered, then we could just make it unlimited, I guess.
Right, could send out a second notice. Okay, that's my note. Oh, I do have some tickets if we want to have a lucky draw. Do you want to have a lucky draw for attendance tonight? Win a t-shirt.
Oh, my God.
So I'll pass those out tonight. Must be present to win.
Yeah.
Carol, I think it's your show now.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for coming out. I appreciate it. I know you didn't come for me. All good, all good. So, I had done a presentation on, I'm getting a really bad echo. Are you guys hearing that too?
We turn off the microphone. Correct. We just hear you. We turn off the microphone in the room because we're hearing.
Now.
Ned, can you speak up?
Can you turn off the microphones here on the floor in front of you? Because we're hearing.
You might need to
need our microphones.
Yeah.
Okay, we're working on muting the microphones here.
Okay, maybe if I speak, I think that's
We can
better.
say all
actually.
kinds of things and Carol won't hear.
If I speak quietly, it might not, maybe I was speaking too loudly. Is this better? I think I'm not getting the echo anymore. So is that good? Are you all good? Okay, awesome. So if anybody has a question and you're on mute or something, just raise your hand and I will stop and try to take your question. Okay, because I don't want to, yeah, like raise your hand, hands up, don't shoot or whatever. So I had done a talk. I didn't have anything prepared, so apologies for that. This is sort of spur of the moment, but I had done a presentation, I guess a couple months ago on NFTs. And I guess Clay was interested in hearing more about what's happening in NFT land. And so I was going to give a little update on that. I have been selling NFTs on a platform. I switched blockchains because Ethereum, when I gave my presentation, I talked a lot about Ethereum. And Ethereum, the fees, the gas prices, as they're called, went way up. They're really high. And so it was getting to the point where if you sell an image, you would, or if you sell an NFT, you have to pay so much in fees that I just got to the point where I was like, that's crazy. And it was harder and harder to market my work. And so I switched to the object platform, which is very cheap. And the fees are very, very low. And it's a lot of artists in it. So I'm really enjoying that platform. I think I've sold maybe 13, 14 NFTs since I did the presentation last. And it's kind of a down market right now. So that's kind of good news because I'm working out a little bit, but not as much as I could be. And I'm still kind of selling some work. I participated in NFT, basically a sale to aid the earthquake victims in Turkey. It was called Tez Quake Aid, which was to benefit the folks in Turkey, and that got me some more collectors, which was really cool. So that's one of the things I've really been working on. But one of the things that came out of the NFT discussion was that I use Twitter Spaces a lot. And I guess with thing about Twitter Spaces, I don't know if you've used them before or have tried them at all. If you go with your phone and you log on to Twitter, you can join a space. And what a space is, it's kind of like a Zoom call, except there's no video and you just sort of talk at each other. But you can also tweet something to the room. So a lot of people use these for photo critiques. Like you go in and you tweet your work in the space, and then everybody can like discuss it. It's really kind of a cool platform. And I was wondering if there's interest in that group, if anybody would, like, I guess raise your hand if you would use a Twitter space if we set one up. Because basically what has to happen for us to set it up is you probably want to use your phone and have a Twitter account. And then what we would do is we would pick a date and time where we would all meet in the space, and we would just go on. It doesn't cost anything. And we just go on and like share a print or something, not a print, a photo, an image, and then discuss it, or we could discuss other things, if people have equipment or questions or whatever. It's a great way to kind of do this. And I've been in some of them pretty regularly. It's really great to talk to folks. And that's how the NFTs are sold, but it's not just about selling. It's really just about growing a community and being in the photo community. So if anybody's interested, I'll post it in the Facebook group for the group too. But I mean, would anybody join a Twitter space, I guess, if we had one? Is it something that people would be willing to try, or
Still trying to get my head around.
I'm sorry, you're on mute?
I'm still trying to get my head around how exactly we use it as opposed to what we do at the moment.
It's a little bit different because with Zoom, it's sort of more video and it's a separate app. And with this, it's like you really just go on Twitter and you can join different spaces. And so what we would do is we would all go on at the same time and just sort of share an image, post an image up, and then just talk about it, or we could talk about other stuff. A lot of spaces are open and people just discuss everything. The way the spaces work, you can have like a co-host and a host, and then there's just speakers. And so, it's actually kind of a nice format. I'll put some more information in the group page, but if folks want to try it, maybe we could do it. We could do a small one and see if we like it. Because again, it doesn't cost anything. It's really just picking a date and time that we would all get together and sort of do it, try it. But it really does. So some of the spaces I've been in, like I've been in a space with some really prominent people. It amazes me. Like even there's now politicians going in them. There's John Knopf, the photo editor, Andy Adams from Flack Photo has been on there. There's been Kath Samard was on one. There's been a lot of spaces where, if you just put photo in the space, a lot of times people will come on, and it might attract people who to the group, or, from other photo areas that might be willing to, come and chat with us as well. So that's another aspect of it.
I guess if people aren't on video, then it might encourage the shy to get more involved rather than sitting there with their mugshot on the screen.
Yeah, it's because it's speaking only. It's almost like Clubhouse. If you ever use Clubhouse, which it kind of competes with Clubhouse, but it's something similar. It's really just it's a chat room, so you can do it from your phone, which is really handy. And then since there's no video and you just post your image up, it makes it really, it's really good for photographers to discuss stuff. And also just to kind of meet with your friends and hang out. And it's like a nice, you can have a nice space. So yeah, I'll put some more information up, but I wanted to share that about, because the spaces are a big aspect of the NFT community, right? And that's really why I'm working with Tez more too, because the Tezos, the families, the people I'm in these spaces, it's really like a family. I'm getting to know a lot of these people. Oh, question.
Hey, Carol?
Question.
Yeah, Carol, before you, are you, okay, so help me understand, because I don't know anything about Twitter and tweeting and all that kind of fun stuff. So in this space that you're referring to, you've referred to it as similar to a Zoom call. So are people on their phone doing this and talking about the image, number one, or are they texting the whole time?
You
okay,
can
so it's all
either.
text.
You can do either. You can talk. It's a microphone. There's no video.
Okay, so the other question is, are you finding this mechanism beneficial to your marketing for to improve an image to get out to be put on your NFT platform?
Yes, there's different types of spaces you can hold and you can go into. Or I'm getting an echo. I'll try to speak quietly. You can go into a critique space where people will critique your work. Or you can go into like a space where you're just marketing and selling your work. And so what happens a lot of times though is it's the same whether you're on a website or whether you're in a space, right? When you want to sell work, it's counterintuitive. You don't really sell work, right? If you want to sell something, you don't say, hey, here's my bottle of water, buy this, buy this, buy this, right? You just start talking and you get to know people, and then people get to know you, and then they buy stuff from you, right? So that's how a lot of the spaces communities work. You engage in the community, and then it's a really big photo community on Twitter. And so what happens is you get to know people, they get to know you, they come into your space. It's global, so there's a big reach. And then what happens is as you do that, people will buy your NFTs and also buy prints from me. So that's one avenue I'm using to really sell my prints and my photography. And I've sold both through the spaces. But the general consensus is that we can have a space where we want to critique the images and just put it up and critique them. Or we can just have a space where we discuss them, or we could have a space where I've been in spaces where people don't discuss anything. They get on and they say, oh, you're from LA, I'm from LA too. Hey, what about this? Have you been down this coffee shop or whatever? And it just goes off the rails and everyone talks about anything. But then I've also been in ones where like Andy Adams from Flack Photo has interviewed a contemporary photographer, and they went in great depth about his body of work, not just one or two images. They put a few images up in the space, but they went deep dive into his work and historically how he got to, how he compares to historical photographers and what he's doing and what new directions he's taking. And it really just went down, deep. It was really interesting space just to get to know one artist. So there's we can run it any way we want. I would suggest we can kind of do a critique to start, but then see where it leads if we get people interested. The only thing I would suggest is if we do want to do a space and we want to open it up to folks outside the group, we put the word like photo in the title somewhere, because people look for certain topics. And if you put photo in, you're going to get other photographers, right? So if you just put NAPfS, nobody will know what that is. And they might not, no one will show up, right? So that would be my suggestion, but I'm flexible, and I'm just curious if people would be interested in doing this, if it's not something anybody would want to try, or if there are people who want to do it, I can post it in the Facebook group and send details, and we can figure out a date and time and just try one. So I think I'm seeing a bunch of yes in terms of question from Clay.
Yeah, I was going to say, yes, my question is if we could do, or if you could be the first person to start us off, then because you kind of know what you're doing, but also if we could search, if there's an index, can we search and find out if there are any other Austin photography groups or spaces? Is that something, in other words, we can join in already in a group that's located in Austin? But it doesn't, I see your point, the fact that it's a world global room space is kind of interesting. Yeah. So maybe I'm not sure how to build the community. You're starting as one person and we've got 5, 6 people here. We can be the first group. But pick a time, pick a time.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. You just pick a time and go in. And it will attract
Maybe
people from all around the
Precision
globe.
Camera has something. Okay.
So it sounds like there's a.
You have a topic? Do you want to propose a topic for the first go around?
I would suggest we just keep it open for images. Everybody bring an image.
Okay.
And we can discuss from there.
Do Yeah, I agree because our club limits things to 2 years back, you know, in your image library, whereas this is open to your full library.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Something we could try. I've never, we could try that. Gary and Bill Ledbetter have Round Rock image creators. I have not met with them. I intend to. Maybe we don't bring them in, maybe we join it.
Oh, if they have a space,
Well,
or they create a space.
I don't think they have a space right now, but what we can do is if we set up a space with a date and time, we can sort of advertise it to other groups and say, hey, we're doing a space, come on in. And I can do like a little blurb on how to like join this, you know, you basically have to have a Twitter account beforehand and then just go into spaces. And that's pretty much it. A lot of times you will want to use your phone. I have to say spaces are a little bit buggy sometimes, especially given Twitter has gone through some upheaval. But it's really a lot of fun. And one thing is we have to, like, I would suggest we open it up to anyone who comes in because they're usually open. So we might not just get people from our group. We might get, you know, random people coming in and just, you know, photobombing us in a way, right? But that's kind of good because it brings new blood into the group, right? It brings new eyes and folks into the group. And they may not be from Austin, but I mean, that's okay, right? It's just talking about images and sharing our work. And they may have some insights into your work that you don't, you know, like one example is we do a lot of bluebonnet photos, right? Everybody has bluebonnet photos. Well, here in Texas, sometimes we get bored looking at bluebonnet photos, right? Because there's so many of them. Well, someone in Germany or Japan, they're like, what's this? A blue flower? I never saw such a thing, right? So you're going to get a different response, even if they're a good photographer, they're established photographer, because they haven't seen what we're shooting, right? So different eyes on that subject matter can really improve your photography sometimes. So that's another thing to think of, is because a lot of times if you're in the spaces community, you get a global reach. And some, like I was in a space with someone from Barcelona and another artist from Norway, and you know, you just get a lot. Their critiques are very different because they come from, you know, European style, maybe a photography that's, you know, like, to give you an example, like we a lot of Americans were inspired by Ansel Adams, right? Well, in Europe, Cartier-Bresson, HCB is more of a big inspiration than Adams, right? A lot of them don't even know who Adams is, right? It's hard to believe, but that's how the world is sometimes, right? So it's really interesting because they'll tell you, oh, your work looks like HCB, or, you know, something along these lines. And it's very different from what we're used to in the States. We get different critiques sometimes. And so that it brings a more global perspective and more universal critique to your work. And I mean, sometimes no, sometimes you're going to get someone that just wants to talk about their new Sony, whatever, or, you know, maybe they just want to say, hey, what's the weather like in Texas? That happens too, right? But it might just be interesting to try a few of them and see if we can get the group interested. It's just another benefit for the group, maybe to have it. And since it doesn't cost anything, I would suggest I'll try it. Does anybody have a preference for the day of the week they want to try?
Thursday night?
Probably not.
Oh, no, either the 2nd or the 4th. Second or the 3rd, or whatever it is, we do.
Even.
2nd and 4th is what we.
No, we do first, third, and fifth.
Okay, so 2nd and 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second and fourth Thursday.
Okay, so I'll set up something for a Thursday night space, and we'll just plan on doing that. And then, you know, we'll see how it goes. I'll probably try to do like a 7 p.m. if that's okay. And we'll just see how it goes. One thing I have to warn you about is sometimes the spaces, a lot of people start spaces at 7 at night and they just keep going. They can end up really popular and they end up at 1 o'clock in the morning and they're still going. So just be aware that, you know, we don't have to end it at a certain time. We can just see how, if it's that popular, we'll just keep going, you know. So keep that in mind. I won't have an end time. We'll just see how it goes. It may just be a 10-minute space. It may be, you know, a 3-hour space, who knows, right? So, because I've been on some that were like, I left the space and went back and they were still going, you know. It's just, Because sometimes what happens is people come and go, they'll join and drop, and that happens too, right? So it's a drop in, drop out kind of thing also. So that's really the NFT area. I mean, I didn't have a lot more, but I was going to talk a little bit about marketing because it sort of ties in with the NFT. And so, question? Yeah. Did you have a question?
Let Ed.
Did you have a question?
Yes. Could you show us some of the images that you've sold?
As NFTs?
Are they crazy cartoon?
Yes, your NFTs or.
You've
Yeah,
been posting on your blog various color images. They're almost like watercolor images. Yeah, and you've been using a filter. You have a favorite filter that you
Filter?
do.
Filter?
Don't you use you said it's addictive. You take your photos and you make them look like paintings.
Oh, I think I know what you're
Those the
talking
ones that
about.
sell?
That's my iPhone.
Yeah, well, you have them on Facebook. Most of your posts, you could probably share your screen and show us your Facebook feed.
Yeah, let me try to
If those
pull it
are the
up.
ones that you're selling for NFT.
Yeah, I can actually do
again?
this. I'll pull up my
Oh, please.
object. Give me 1 second. I'll pull up my object and you can see what's selling, what my NFTs are selling. That's probably the easiest thing to do. Let me sign on to object and see if I can do that. And then I can show you my NFTs from there. Sorry. So I have my Twitter and my object connected. So they actually connect together. Sorry, I'm still, hopefully y'all can still hear me.
Ed, you probably have to give her permission to share the screen.
I'm sorry.
I'm still pulling it
You may
up.
have
Hang
to give
on,
her
sorry.
permission to share the screen.
No, you can share.
Yeah, give me a second. Sorry, I'm loading through Twitter and I have to go through Twitter because I'm bound to Twitter for my object. So I can actually show you my NFT collection too while I'm in here, which will be interesting. So I can actually show you my real NFTs because I've bought some and sold some, and some of mine are for sale. And let's see what we got. Okay, so let's see if I can. Where am I? I'm gonna try to share my screen now. It's coming up, I think. Give me 1 second. Sorry, it's taking a second to load. My computer's really old and slow, so you have to. Okay, so I'm gonna try to share, and let's see what we have. This is my object. So hopefully that's coming up for you. Can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so let me see if I can give you a little 3-penny tour. So this is object.com. This is if you're on Tezos, this is the NFT platform of choice. So you can see I have 13 collectors on Tezos. So those are people who bought my NFTs. And you can see this is the one I did for the Tezos Quake Aid. I did an NFT called Strings of Humanity, and I auctioned it for, I guess it's selling for more than I auctioned it, but now it's, I took this at the Exploratorium in San Francisco when I was there recently, and it's to benefit the Quake Aid. So you can see there's a little box here that says it's raising money for the earthquake in Turkey, and I think there's one more and it's sold out. So there's that one. And let me go back to my, sorry, it's hopefully won't be too slow, but. So you can see, these are the ones I've created. these are, so some of mine are created from my iPhone, and some of them are created from my camera. It doesn't matter. You can do it from both. You can actually create iPhone images or regular photographic images. You can make a video out of, you can turn a video into an NFT. You can turn music into an NFT. You can turn a website into an NFT, whatever you want to sell. So these are my, so these are some of the ones I'd shot. This one I had shot in Round Rock when I was down, when we went on the photo walk to Round Rock with the group. I shot this one, and that one has sold. And this one I did for, there was a summer, a project. They have these little projects where they do, like Tezos Quake Aid was one. They announced a project and the theme was water or summertime, I think. And so I did the water theme, and it was for Tezos Summer. Let's see, this one was also shot in Round Rock when we went on the photo walk. And this one I think is sold out also. Some of them are available, some of them are not. In mine, some of them, like this one, Wild About Architecture, Barcelona in the Clouds, I shot in Barcelona. It's an iPhone image. And it, I sold it, and it's now selling on secondary market, which means the person who bought it is reselling it for a lot more money than they paid from me. So that's good, because I get with NFTs, you get royalties. So as they sell it, I'll get more money. Excuse me, which is good. And then I had done this one for the Christmas time. It's still out there from Christmas time, I guess. And then you can see these are the ones I've purchased. So these are the ones I've bought. And so it actually shows mine in the purchased as well, but you can see some of the ones I've purchased. There's a guy, Marco Kern, who I like his work. I've purchased a few of his. And some of the pieces I've purchased are not, they're artwork. They're not just photography, but I shouldn't say just, they're not all photography, but I purchased artwork too. This one is a photograph. Tyler James is a photographer. This one is, I think it's generated art. So it's like AI art. So I have some AI art. I have some, a really interesting thing about this image, for those of you who are interested in AI art, this is, this woman is a photographer, Renee Campbell. And what she does is she makes these, she does flower macro photography, and she turns it into these people, the Florians, they're called. And she wrote a story about the Florians and their different characters. And so I own a Florian, and some of them are reselling on the secondary market for a huge amount of money. But it's really interesting because she's from Australia, and she's making these out of artificial intelligence, but also she starts with her images and then composites with the AI artwork. So it's really, really interesting. Here's another one. I have two of her Florians. And so you can see, like, this was her, this was her, her work. And it's really fascinating to see what she does with the AI aspect of it. And then this is a guy from India that I just fell in love with the portrait. I thought it was gorgeous, so I had to have it.
Carol,
yes.
is the number above and to the right of the title that's got a number and then X, is that the number of times it's been sold?
That is the number that is available, so that you're usually done in editions. So you can make a 1 of 1, or you can make like 5 or 7 or 10. So like this one, there's 7 of these photos that have been minted, meaning you can buy one, you can own 1 of the 7 or more of the 7 if you want to buy more than 1, right? So the more rare an image is, the more, usually the more value it has. And the most rare, of course, is what they call a 1 of 1, which means there's only 1 that exists, and those usually go for higher price.
Sure. And
so it's a little weird. There's editions, and then there's, you can resale secondary market, and it gets a little complex sometimes, but hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, you can see, so of course my work is in with my own stuff, but also some of the pieces I've bought. So, and then some people give me NFTs too, like you can trade them also. So sometimes if you help somebody, you answer a question or whatever, they'll just gift you an NFT, right? So it happens. So some of these, I don't even know how I got some of them, I guess, I think this one, I don't think I bought it. I think she actually gave it to me. I didn't realize until just now. So I should thank her for it. This is a pretty image. She's a photographer up in North Dallas. So I'm also worried that she was in the tornado tonight, but I will touch base with her later and make sure she's okay. But that's basically the NFT market. And so basically the way it works is you can just make a new NFT from here. So from once you're connected with Object, you can just say, hey, I want to mint a new NFT. And you add the description and you add the edition that you want. Like if you want 1 of 5, 1 of 100, 1 of whatever, you specify that. And now they have a new thing with Object. They're doing something where you can do, in addition, you can do you can do editions and you can do them for time. So you can say like, it's open edition, but it's only going to be, the auction's only going to be open for a week. And after that, the image is not available anymore. Right. So that's a new thing that you can do now too, is you can say like, let's say I wanted this photo to raise money, but I don't want to limit the price. Right. So I can say, okay, I'm selling this. You can buy it for, it's auctioning. And then after a week it closes. Right. So that's another thing you can do. Like you can set a price or not set a price and let the auction just go up if you have a lot of followers, or you can set a price and sell a certain number, however many you can sell in a week, and then you shut it down. Right. So that's another thing you can do, is you can do an auction you can do like a timed auction. So that way you can say like, I'm going to do, up to 500 of these, whatever sells in a week. And then when it's done, it's done. No one gets any more. So it's interesting. It's a very interesting platform. And actually I really am enjoying Object because it's a lot, things sell for cheaper, but it's also, there's fewer fees and the cost of entry is very low. I mean, you can basically sell NFTs maybe for as little as like $10, just that's all you really need to list your NFTs, even less than that probably. So it's something to think about if you're interested. Someone said to me once in a space that, if you're on Instagram, you're putting your stuff up for free and Instagram is making money off your work. If you're selling NFTs, at least once in a while, you might sell something and you're getting paid rather than, Instagram taking the money, right? So it's better to actually be selling NFTs and making a little bit of profit. And then another aspect of this is that you get feedback on your work, right? Because if you put up 5 NFTs, you can see what sells, right? You can really see what sells. You can see what, if something sells a lot more, it's probably a better image, right? You got feedback on what's selling or what isn't, right? So you can look at over time, what was more popular, right? Are you getting more traction for your flowers, for your architecture, for your portraits, whatever, right? So, that's the other aspect of it, right? So that's how it works. And then, the marketing aspect, of course, I'm really learning, I'm taking a lot. Oh, I have a question. Yeah, I see a hand waving. Oh, I have a question. Yeah, I see a hand waving.
So this is Clay. I wanted to know a little bit about the financial, the numbers underneath the pictures, like 1G, 2G, 2.5G, 33G. Is that a unit of monetary value?
Yeah, it's actually TZ. It's not a G. I know it looks like a G, but it's TZ. It's Tezos, right? So that's like, so 1 Tezos is 1 Tezos. 5 Tezos is 5. So a Tezos to $1, it fluctuates, right? So you have to look it up and see, but it's almost like a buck, so you can think of it that way. But yeah, so I don't know what the price is right now because the market's been very crazy. We have a banking crisis going on. I don't know if everyone's heard, but it's actually making, what's happening is there's actually a flight to art right now. A lot of people are buying artwork, like art for the walls, because of the banking crisis, because people are realizing that their money may not be safe in the bank and they're buying like Monets and stuff. So there's been a sudden run on art, but it hasn't filtered into the contemporary art space yet, but it will, because what happens is everybody's buying like the real expensive, you know, I call it the fuddy-duddy art, right? But then what'll happen is that gets priced up, people will look at contemporary art and say, hey, that's cheap and I will actually make money on it. So then the contemporary art market will kind of go up afterwards, right? So I expect in a month or two, there's going to be a boom on contemporary art as if the banks keep having issues, right? Even if they don't, there's still sort of a run on, you know, with this financial business going on, more people will invest in contemporary art towards the summertime. And it's also impacting the crypto space because more people are buying crypto right now because they see it as a safer bet than the bank, which I'm sorry, that's pretty funny to say, but it might be, right? Because the banks are going on, you know, banks are going out of business and the crypto will still be there. So
one of your earlier screens said that one of these TZs is $1.13 today.
yeah, okay, so that's the part, but it really fluctuates. I mean, it can fluctuate like within a minute, like if you look it up now and look it up in 10 minutes, it might change, right? So know that happens too. It's about, I consider it about 1-to-1, but it's maybe if that's a little off too. So, but you can see I have some of my work my work especially, I sell it really cheap. I sell it for like 1 TES because I'm trying to build up more collectors. But then my collectors, when they buy it and resell it, they sell my secondary prices are very high. Usually it's like 150, 200, 250, like that. So my collectors, when they resell, if they do resell, they're getting a lot of money from my work. So that probably says over time, I should raise they call it a floor price. I should raise my floor up a little bit. But right now I'm not, it really doesn't pay to go from like 1 to 5 or 5 to 10, 1 to 10, whatever. I'm staying at the 1 to try and get more collectors.
What typically are the, sorry, Carol, what typically are the royalty rates when somebody resells one of your pieces?
You set the royalty rate. So you get to set it anywhere from 0% to like 89. I think it might even be 99%. But you probably wouldn't want to do it that high. So mine, I typically set, I started a few at 10%, but now I'm doing a 25% royalty because I feel like I'm lowering, you know, I've lowered my price, right? My price is low, but I want that royalty. And it happens because you can sell and resell the work and you get it every time, right? So that's the other reason is I want that I want a bit of a royalty. But typically they recommend you do like 10 to 30% royalty, any more or less than that. And less than that, you're not going to really make any money. And then more than that, there's not an interest in people selling your work because you're getting all the money, right? So So question?
So
Yes.
Sarah, is there a minimum amount that you have to set aside to fund? You know, do they have a subscription price? It's a monthly price, and then you have a wallet that you can fund and put your coins in there so that you've got this available. In other words, they're tokens, right?
Yeah.
The second question is, can I create screensavers? Can I create with those images to make my own display? I mean, what do I do?
Oh,
Other
okay.
than look at them here?
Sure. So for the display, there's an app called Pixel Vault, and you can actually make a virtual online gallery like in the metaverse. So you can, if you wanted to, like I probably should do it because I have some nice NFTs now. But I could make a gallery that you can go and walk around, you know, virtually walk around in and check it out. There's also NFT conferences. There was just NFT Paris and NFT NYC is going on. I think it's like soon, if it's not now. And so they descend upon New York City for NFT NYC, and they have display. They actually have they take over some of the galleries in New York, and they have displays, electronic displays. And I think this year they're doing a thing in Times Square on some of the billboards. So they'll display NFTs as part of that. Last year in December, there was a really big thing at Art Basel Miami, which is a really big art fair. If you're not familiar with it, it's a big thing. There's original Art Basel is in Switzerland or in Europe. And then they moved it to Miami. So they have Art Basel Miami, which is called Art Basel Miami, oddly enough, even though it's not in Basel. But that festival has been going on for a very long time. It predates the NFT space. It's a big art show in Miami every year around December time. And it's really industry. A lot of celebrities go to it. A lot of, there's a lot of art. It's a big art scene. It's a big art like event. If you're not familiar with it, check it out because you can see some of the people who've gone to it. But part of that this year, a lot of that was NFTs. It was overrun by NFT people. It was just NFT everywhere. There wasn't even as many people were complaining, saying there wasn't even as much real art. Oh well, but that's what happens. So the NFT people the Web3 people are really taking over a lot of the art industry in many ways. They're making inroads into a lot of the art, a lot of the traditional art shows. They're incorporating NFTs, and a lot of galleries now are doing NFTs as well. They're selling NFTs of artist work. It's just become very popular. But did that answer your question?
In a way, yes, it does. In other words, you've got the picture of the Volkswagen, and if you want to print it out and put it on your wall, you can do that.
I don't really do that. It doesn't really come with a print. Like normally what I would do if I wanted a print is I would contact the photographer and try to purchase a print, right? Because the NFT isn't different. It's really just the JPEG. But there are some NFTs that come, like Tyler James, who's you can see I have his image here. I think this one he gifted to me. I don't know how I got this one. Oh yeah, it says airdrop. So yeah, so he gifted it to me. It was my Christmas present from him, I guess. Like he does a cool thing where he auctions off if you buy his NFT, he takes like let's say this one has 107 of them, but let's say he made 10 of them. Every 10 he'll do like an auction, and he'll auction off a print. And so that's another way to get like a real print from the NFT. But I usually, for a print, I would usually go to the artist. I wouldn't print from the NFT. It really, when you buy an NFT, you buy just the JPEG. And that's really what you're buying. So any other questions?
So how much does it cost to get this started?
It's very little. It's under $10. Really, I would suggest you can hook up your wallet with like as little as $10 these days. It's very cheap. And you don't really need.
And do you do it through this? Do you do it through this object.com, or is that?
So you have to have a wallet. So you have to have a wallet. I did a talk on it. You might want to look through the talk that I had done previously, but basically what you have to do is you have to have a wallet, and you put your money into the wallet. You take your $10 and you put it into the wallet, and then you connect the wallet to object. And then from the wallet, that's how you mint. So when you mint, it will tell you like, you're minting this thing, and then you'll create the NFT token. Right. And then after that, you create an auction to sell it. So usually NFTs are sold through auction. So my wallet is connected to my object. And I funded mine with $35 for object. That was just a random amount that I picked. But you could do it. I think you can do it for as little as $10. It's not really expensive. I'm still under, I would say I probably made, because some of my NFTs that I purchased are worth a lot more than I paid. So I'm probably sitting at like, if I were to cash out, I probably would have like more than $1,000, and I've invested less than $100 in the NFTs. And I have to say, I don't like buy and sell as much as I could, because I work full time and I have a website and I do a lot of other stuff. But I do see this as a future, a thing in the future that definitely I could see myself selling more NFTs. And as I mentioned, I'm learning the thing about NFT space is it works really quickly and really fast. So what happens is I see how people sell them. Remember, I was talking about how a lot of people go into spaces and they want to sell the water, right? They don't just say, hey, buy my water. This is the best water you've ever had. Buy my water. Don't you want to buy my water? They don't do that. What they do is it goes, oh, say, hey, how you doing today? Oh, it's great talking. Oh, how's the family, right? And then it's, oh, you're thirsty. I've been selling water, right? That's how you sell things typically, right? And I don't come from a sales background, so it took me a while to learn that. But basically what's happened is I've learned, and I go in these spaces and I see some of the artists, like Tyler James is a great example. He sells a lot of NFTs. He's based out of Houston. He's a younger fellow, but he's really active. And I watch what he does. I watch some of the things he does. Like, for example, he did this beautiful airdrop at Christmas time and gave everybody a free gift, right? He auctions off prints. He did a book. He put his book on the blockchain so you can buy his book through Tezos, right? There's a lot of stuff he does and that's how he's, and then another thing he does is when the NFT market kind of gets slow, he goes to galleries and starts approaching like real galleries and says, hey, can you give me a show? Right. So that way he's always doing more with his work. So I'm learning a lot about the branding and marketing and selling in the NFT space. And then I'm taking that and applying it to like my website. So I'm using those same tools that I'm getting in the NFT space and applying it to everything else I do. So that's been kind of interesting for me. I really view it as a learning. It's like my MBA in a way, right? Because I'm learning how to sell and how to market, and how to brand. Like these people all have brands, right? Tyler James is a great example. He's a brand now. I mean, you can here. I'll pull up his stuff and you can look at his work, and you can kind of see how like what he's doing, and you can kind of follow him, right? And see, like he does this thing. He does a card. Right. So what he does is every Friday he releases a new, like a trading card, like baseball cards almost. Right. And he does those every Friday, and they're limited edition. And so he only sells so many, like, I don't know how many. And then when they're gone, they're gone. Right. So that's something he'll do. He'll do these cards where there's only so many. And you if you get it, you get it. And then and then some people are trying to collect the whole set. Right. So it encourages people to like buy every last one of them. Right. So that's the other aspect of it, is some people will, and you can see I have a couple of his pieces, and he's a great night photographer. And so I follow him. I really like his work. But it's really interesting to see some of the things he's doing in the NFT space, because he'll do books and he'll do, and he's very active in some of the spaces. And so that's another thing, is you can get on a space and Tyler might pop in and you can ask him questions, say, hey, tell me about your trading cards, and he'll talk about them. And that's how all of this ties together too, right? Because you can get on a space and just talk to someone who's doing this and find out, like, ask them a lot of stuff. There's actually Sarah, Duchess of York, was in Twitter Spaces a few weeks ago, and she is selling NFTs now, and she was doing spaces. You could actually go on and talk to the Duchess of York in a space. It was like, what? So there's actors. Val Kilmer has an art collector, and he's been in spaces as well. Not recently, but obviously, but he's had done them in the past. There's some actors that are doing them. Snoop Dogg is very active in the NFT area. His name is Cosmo de Medici. He has a fake name in the spaces, but it's him. It's Snoop Dogg. But yeah, so that's the other aspect of it, is I'm really learning a lot about marketing and branding in this, and I'm taking that back to my website and my Carol's Little World, basically, which is my website. So, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of times what happens is when you mint, a lot of people, it's almost like a lot of swapping, a lot of buying and selling amongst artists, but it's pretty cool. So do we have another question, or? Sorry, I can't see. I see people moving around. I can't tell if someone has their hand up or not. Yes, question.
I think it's unmuted. So we're ready to move on, and we want to thank you for you know, everything that you've shared with us tonight. And that you're breaking new boundaries. You're out there doing things we're not, and we appreciate it so much that you're taking the time to share with the club. You're one of our most active members, one of our most artistic photographers. So we appreciate it, Carol, so much that you took the time tonight.
Okay, thanks.
Carol, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And I'll set up the space. I'll put an announcement in the Facebook group and I'll send it I'll probably send it to I'll send it to you, Clay, and then we can maybe spread the word and see if we can get a space going for the group.
Okay.
Okay, thanks so much. Okay. And yeah, if anybody has any other
If
questions,
you want, I think
feel
we're
free
good
to hit me
here.
up.
Does Nick have
Thank you.
pictures to show? Does Nick or Dave DeVore want to share their screen and show any images? Bill has brought some prints that he wanted to share.
Okay, I've not got anything prepared. So-
Nothing here, this is Dave. Nothing here, this is Dave.
Well, shucks.
Well, guys, I wish you'd come down. I know it's a little short notice for you, Carol. But we've got, I brought some prints that I had at the house so everybody can see them. Some of them only Ed will recognize.
You want to hold them up in front of the camera, share them with the audience?
Now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, can you hold them up, please?
You can go pick out a couple and pick out the chat.
One thing I just wanted to share quickly is how this group has helped me. I had several experiences here when I was thinking about photography for the monthly themes. I had some pre-visualization moments where I actually pre-visualized that I want to get a picture this way or that way. And I wondered if anybody else had had that experience, if that's how you take and work on your photography. It's one of the benefits I find for the club.
You thought of a career on The Price is Right, Stephen?
Yeah.
That's a cockpit of a B-17.
Is this the one that's no longer with us?
I'm not certain.
I bet you it is.
Yeah.
Was it a year show?
This was an air show years ago with Bergstrom.
I bet you this is the one that's
And
no longer with us.
That was shot with a D3.
It's really sharp. It really's got a great, you can really read the dials.
This is part of a series I've been putting together, Hands of Boston Music.
Was that at a concert?
Uh,
Or a special session that you set up at the artist?
no, it was in concert.
Cool.
Yeah, we've done that. We did tonight.
Pat Sin is getting his picture done. Bring him over.
Oh, sure.
Here's an image I brought just for Ed.
Did you design part of the BP viewer system?
What is it, Bill?
Yeah, I probably designed it. What is it?
It's a memory card out of a supercomputer that TI built years ago. And Ed and I both worked on it. It's 8K. No. Each one of those chips is 1K by 1 bipolar. It was a
That first
first.
computer I programmed on had 16K memory.
I don't think this was macro.
This is Pat
Yeah.
I'm talking about it.
Yeah, that's Gorman Falls. When I first got here, I was looking for landscapes and waterfalls, and so the summertime water was down, but there was enough of a mist coming down to create this.
Did you pick the slow exposure with the idea of letting the water movement?
Yeah, and this is actually early morning, so yeah, I had a long exposure just to get that, and that's
Film?
film Fujichrome, shot on a 2.25 camera, my house again. So, yeah.
Next one.
Okay, so here's one that everybody kind of recognizes. That's the Hamilton Falls. And I was on a business trip here years and years and years ago, back in 2000 something. Had lots of zeros in it. And I had again, this is on a Hasselblad Fujichrome. No, yeah, this one is actually color negative. So, but I resurrected it within the last couple of weeks just to see what I could do with it again. So, yeah, fun.
At TI, when we built circuit boards, all of the boards, any corrections to them, the prototypes, we put blue wires on them. So when we brought this board up and got it running, we claimed it was the first prototype board with no blue wires. You can see the red bundles on it. This was the first board to run Unix on the Motorola 68020. For those that know that much computer history or been exposed to it. 2 megabytes of memory. We've got cache memory that's bigger than that on each processor in our 24 core chips. Cool.
Now, do you have a series of those?
Something like that. Say again?
Do I have a series of
Of
the
images of
other
the
board
circuit
type? I
board?
have a series.
Of the images of the circuit board?
Oh, yeah. I have the circuit boards.
I think she's suggesting maybe you could turn it into an EFT collection.
Yeah, or
Somebody
a one-person
appreciate it.
show. A one-person show.
Yeah, I think I actually have the chipsets to populate this board too. Hey, if you're going to collect,
Is this small? Wait a minute, is this what you're gonna bring on next Thursday for the swap meet? No.
chips.
Very nice.
Well, okay. Let's see if I can hold that one. Wow.
Come on.
Sadly, it's not acquiring focus on that.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
What's that round? Is that a duplex?
No, this is a. Let me read on the back. Oh, wrong one. What's on the back is not what's in the picture. So this is part of the. This was taken in Singapore at the still okay. Singapore Botanic Gardens. This was out. Yeah, this was in the Botanic Gardens versus. If you go inside another piece, there is the National Orchid Garden, and actually this I think was in there. So it's an orchid of some sort.
Catalina.
Thank you. He knows.
Other facets. Bill has several.
Okay, I'm gonna go home now.
More chips?
More chips. This is a very, very rare board, and I think there was only one system built using these.
These
This
are
was
really
the
interesting.
first dynamic, the big square chip.
Really interesting.
There's something compelling about the symmetry.
There's something compelling about the symmetry. Ah.
Yeah, they have a repetition of
You have
shapes
to repeat-
and line that's really interesting from an artistic point of view. I really think you should do something like do a 1% show of these or mint them as NFTs.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and the computer museum in San Jose has the real stuff as well.
Yeah.
And
They have one column from this machine.
not the whole machine.
Oh, no. The whole machine
Big,
would more than fill this room.
yeah. It would use for targeting artillery and things like that.
No, weather
Weather.
models. It was the first machine, serial number 4 was the first machine to run a weather model faster than real time. So it actually predicted the weather. It didn't get the same answer that we saw outside, observed.
Also did seismic analysis for oil companies.
Wow. Okay.
And serial number 3 was used by the Army for ballistic missile defense as the control computer for missile system.
Yeah.
Of course, it never made it out of simulation. It never left Huntsville, Alabama.
Never got launched.
Well, it wouldn't have been long.
Oh.
It was way too big.
Ty, do you have anything that you want to hear?
Sure, I had some pictures just on a hard drive that from our, when we walked around in Taylor.
Here's the Zoom information. If you want to join the Zoom and share your screen.
I can't.
Wi-Fi?
You've got Wi-Fi, you Wi-Fi too.
Yeah.
No, you don't need Wi-Fi.
Again.
I thought you looked familiar. That's where I saw you. You were in Taylor.
I went to Taylor, yeah.
Oh.
What is it?
Okay.
I just gathered up stuff that might be interesting to folks as I was leaving the house. So here's my first Nikon.
So you can see, yes. Okay. And then focus here.
It's a Nikon F2 film camera with one of the earliest zoom lenses of 43 through 86. And probably the thing that I like most about this lens that you don't ever see anymore, of course, is you can see the colored stripes. Those show you the depth of field that you have given the focus point and the lines are aperture. And as you move the lens back, it changes the point that it intersects the line. So as you get wider and wider, your depth of field gets greater and greater. So it's all there, just read it off the camera. Because you're not going to get to look at it in your viewfinder.
I did it once and it's it.
That Taylor trip was a great walk around. That you had a turnout.
Oh, the Taylor, when they went to
Oh.
Taylor.
It's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 3, 1, 2, 4. We're getting connected to the Wi-Fi in the church. Okay, and then you go to Zoom.
I don't think I, might have done that. I didn't do it on different. Yeah.
We see an iPad coming on.
Okay.
We see an iPad coming on.
I've seen, a bunch of people using this.
Well, the big thing about it is literally. With this set of.
Why need to, I'm not gonna have to do like a snippet. Oh.
Basically.
Join use. I don't think I'm on this video. I haven't had this one. That's where you. It says join meeting. I'll read it to you if you want, or let me find it. Oh. 826 3114
Yeah.
0672.
I carried one. They still have it.
I'm joining the browser. Just wait a second.
Yeah. For the line. Yeah.
I think you're already on Zoom. You just need to. Well, I didn't have the Zoom app, and so I'm joining it through the. Read the number again. 826 3114 0672. Oh, no, passcode now. Hello. No, for the Zoom meeting.
Oh.
Is that this 57?
Is this the passcode?
Yeah, the passcode 572. Yeah, 572 892.
Yeah, I've got
It's coming. There he is.
Yeah, we can see you. You've joined. Yeah, we can see you. You've joined.
Now you have to share your screen or.
It shows me as not sharing my screen anymore, so hopefully I've given it up correctly and you should be able to see it.
Well, it's gotta give permission. It's a.
You can share, with no permission.
Yeah, but my computer won't let it do it because it's a Mac. I have to give all these permissions. And now so that I have to quit and reopen it to. Just built into the app. Yeah. So. Let's see, it might also. It doesn't go to the. Okay, there in a second. Let me look at one other thing. The downloads. Now I should be able to just load there.
I would, yeah.
Zoom app. Okay, let's see.
Name number?
Yeah.
826-3114. 0672.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared for all of this on this computer.
It's 826. 3114.
Yeah, and it kind of goes without saying, but I apologize for my completely impromptu talk.
This is the password.
Pittsburgh 572. 892. Okay, come on.
Okay.
We can see you now. Hi.
Okay. Now I've got quit open Zoom when I gave it permissions.
There. This should be the last time.
Yeah, we got some severe thunderstorms headed this way.
Oh, is it, you see it on radar now?
Yeah,
I've just had a
I'm
warning
hearing-
come up.
Yeah, I'm in Cedar Park, so I'm north
Yeah, I
and
just got a
west, which
warning
is
from
the direction they're coming, and I can tell you it just started thundering here.
Yeah, I just heard some thunder, yeah.
This is the
It's a
second.
dark and stormy night.
572.
Dark and stormy night.
892.
Sounds like the beginning of a story. Carol.
Get this out of the car.
Okay. We need to shut down.
Well, give me another 5. Give me another 5.
I can still be on Zoom without this, right?
Yeah, well, sure.
Okay, share screen.
Don't have to come in and put it back. Yeah, just disconnect the cable.
Okay, no.
That's here,
It's
but they can't. I got my sound off, so.
Yeah, I need to get this in the car.
Are you gonna stop that one so that I can turn this one off? We don't get more echo?
You have to mute, Ed.
Okay, well. You're still, okay, still. So Ty, tell us about this image. Right now. Let's see. Okay. Okay, Ty. Let me mute, I'll mute it so that it only goes to that one, I think.
We can hear you clearly enough. The echo is not distracting.
Okay, you need to mute your microphone.
I just muted my microphone here, so it's only going through the other one. So what I had here was just, when we went on the photo tour, I took several pictures. I have about 15 pictures that I did. And this was when we first started out of this statue of a cowboy. And then I was just going to show some of the pictures that I did. Let's see. That's what I was hoping. Price. Well, I guess this isn't going to go that well right now because I'm not sure exactly how to share it and switch slides.
Okay. Any final words, Bill? Okay, well, we have another meeting and it'll be the last Thursday of the month. And we're going to be using it as a swap meet. So please mark it down on your calendar and bring your magazines and books that you no longer want. I think that would be a good thing. And for some people, they have tons of lenses and actual gear. So we thank you all for being part of our meeting tonight and good luck. And we're over and thank you, Ed, for being our host and the master. Thank you, Ty, new member. We'll get you in on the next one.
Good to see you all.
Yeah, that's fine.
See you all. Yeah, see you all.